During morning formation, my commander called my name and I already knew my day was over. My name is Marcus, and I'm stationed at Fort Carson with the 4th Infantry Division. When Commander Pierce called out Marcus Langford, report to my office immediately after formation, I felt my stomach drop because I'd been expecting this moment for 3 weeks. It started small, just little things that felt wrong around base, conversations that stopped abruptly when I walked into rooms, computer terminals that went dark whenever I approached, my bunkmate Trevor suddenly being transferred to a different unit with no explanation after we'd been talking about weekend plans the night before. The first real sign something was happening came during a routine equipment check 2 weeks ago. I was assigned to inventory night vision gear in the supply warehouse when I noticed serial numbers on some devices that didn't match our official records. The discrepancies were subtle, just a few digits off, but I'd always been good with details. I mentioned it to Sergeant Devon, thinking it was probably just a clerical error. He took the paperwork from my hands with this expression I'd never seen before, thanked me curtly, and told me he'd handle it from there. When I came back the next day, all the equipment I'd flagged had been replaced with units that matched the records perfectly. That's when I started paying closer attention to things around me. Small details that individually meant nothing, but together painted a picture I didn't want to believe, like how my access card stopped working for certain buildings I'd always been able to enter, or how my computer login started requiring additional security verification that other soldiers didn't seem to need. The mess hall conversations were the most obvious tell. Whenever I sat down with guys from my unit, the topics would shift from whatever they'd been discussing to safe, generic military small talk, sports scores, complaints about the food, weekend plans that somehow never included me anymore. Last week during weapons training, I overheard 2 lieutenants talking in low voices near the ammunition storage. One of them mentioned my name, followed by words like containment and security risk and need-to-know basis. When they noticed me listening, they immediately changed the subject and walked away in opposite directions. I'd been hoping I was paranoid, reading too much into coincidences and isolated incidents, but yesterday, everything became clear when I found the manila envelope slipped under my door with no return address or explanation for how it got there. Inside were photocopies of documents with my name highlighted throughout, incident reports, security assessments, and investigation notes that painted me as someone who'd stumbled onto classified information that could compromise ongoing operations. The documents referenced equipment serial numbers, the same ones I'd questioned in that warehouse 2 weeks ago. Apparently, my innocent inventory check had uncovered evidence of something much bigger than clerical errors, something that required covering up and containing anyone who might have seen too much. I spent the night reading through everything, trying to understand exactly what I'd accidentally discovered and why it was serious enough to warrant this level of response. The picture that emerged was worse than I'd imagined. Standing in formation this morning, listening to Commander Pierce call my name with that particular tone that every soldier recognizes as bad news, I realized they'd been building a case against me for weeks, documenting every conversation, monitoring my access, preparing for this moment. When formation dismissed and everyone else headed to their assignments, I walked toward the command building knowing that whatever happened next would determine whether I left this base as a soldier or a security threat. I knocked on Commander Pierce's door at exactly 0800 hours and heard him call me inside. He was sitting behind his desk with a thick folder open in front of him and 2 men in civilian clothes standing on either side of the room. That's when I realized they hadn't just been investigating what I'd seen.